Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Horelua and you're welcome to Hori's World. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to travel to the United Kingdom as an international student, how to study in the United Kingdom. So without wasting much of your time, let's get right into the video. So the first thing when you planning to study in the United Kingdom as an international student, the first thing you have to consider is sourcing university. You have to do your research online and look for the university you will want to consider studying, and also your course. You have to decide on the course you want to study as an international student. So if you're planning to study in the United Kingdom and to possibly pick up an employment after your study and live in the United Kingdom, one thing that is very important is that you should consider the course of study, because there are so many courses that are when it comes to employability, there are so many courses you should consider. You shouldn't just pick any course to study. And there are so many of the courses anyway. But some of the courses that you could consider studying as an international student in the United Kingdom is um, health and social care, basically any medical course. Also project management. Okay, so there are your university. Another important factor is your source of income that will cover your period of study, your tuition fee and accommodation, feeding, and all other expenses. So there are some university that are very affordable. Yeah, so you can check online for the cheapest UK university you might want to study. Okay. Another thing you should consider is sourcing for fund. Basically, if you have your fund already, you don't have anything to worry about. Yeah, but if you don't, you can apply for loans. There are so many banks you can, depending on your financial capability, you can apply for loans that will cover your first year of study. And you can also, when you get to United Kingdom, you can look for part-time work that will help you in your course of study. So that is very important, because you don't want to get to you don't want to start your course and the school start to bother you about payment of tuition fee. Yeah, so that's another factor. Another another thing I'll be talking about here is means of livelihood. I mean, the cost of living in the United Kingdom. Okay, if you choose a university that is in London, because the cost of living in London is high, then you'll be looking at around £1,300. But if you are staying outside London, that is way cheaper than living as a student in London. So depending on where your university is located, that is another factor to consider if you're going to be choosing a university that is inside London or a university that is outside London, which is more cheaper. So after deciding on the course you want to study, the university, then the next stage should be applying to your okay, before applying to the university, you have to like check the website of the school you plan to apply into. You have to check the website and look for their requirements to study with them. So after checking that, after you might have concluded on the university choice of yours, then you should apply. Just apply. When you apply, after the university you choose might have accessed your application, the first thing they will issue you is a conditional offer, which the first thing they will issue is a conditional offer. Then they will ask you for some documents. They will ask you for some additional documents and possibly payments of deposits. So, and that's we after the conditional offer, then the next stage of the admission processing is the unconditional offer. So one thing, some of there are some documents you will have to have as an international student, depending on either you are coming to the United Kingdom uh, um, on a degree program or on a master program. You are coming to the United Kingdom. One of their requirements is that you proof of English proficiency. And one way you can prove your English proficiency, one way I will recommend for you is the IELTS, because when I was during my own processing time, I took the IELTS test. So it depends on the university you are applying into. Some require the some like a certain amount of score. You have to, I think basically all the university require you to have at least minimum of 5.5 band average score. So it all depends on the university you're applying into and also the course you're planning to study. But at least you must have a minimum band score of 5.5, the average score. That's what I'm talking about. So after you might have, and when you're applying for your high ETS, it's very important for you to study, watch YouTube videos. There are a lot of videos. This helped me a lot when I was about to take my own IELTS exam. I watch a lot of videos online. So you can search for videos online as regard IELTS. You can watch videos. And after you apply for the IELTS, after you submit your application and you can after you make the payments you will have access to like road it is called road to IELTS. In that road to IELTS, they give a kind of guideline and tutorials and also assessment that can help you to perform very well in the exam. Yeah, so after you might have passed your IELTS, and also one of the things the school requires is that maybe if you're coming to the United Kingdom as to study a degree program, you might have you must have you must you must have completed 1 year degree 1 year in the university in your country, most especially if you are coming to Nigeria. You must have either you have A levels or you have finished a 1 year course, a 1 year, basically in Nigeria. Let's take Nigeria as an example. All the degree courses in Nigeria is usually in a 4 year program. So the one of the requirements of the United Kingdom is that you should have completed at least 1 year out of the program, then you can apply or you have an A level. So that is that about that. Yeah, after you have done that and you have applied, the school will and they have issued you an unconditional offer. The school will require you have to go and do your TB tests because those are all the documents you will be needing to qualify you for the unconditional offer. You have to do your TB test, that is tuberculosis test. Because if you are coming to the United Kingdom to study for a certain period of time, basically maybe over 6 months, you have to have tuberculosis test. So after you have done your IELTS exam and you've passed the exam and you've done your you and the school have issued you and a conditional offer, you have to do your TB test. You have to, and the school will also tell you the documents you have to like send to them, and possibly the school usually requires to make some amount of deposit. Then they will usually the unconditional offer. Then after the unconditional offer, after the unconditional offer, and you've made your deposit out of the tuition fee, you will you will have to the school will issue you something that is called CAS. That CAS, you will be needing some vital information on that CAS in order to apply for your visa. Okay. So moving on, I'm going to Moving on, when you are applying to the home office after the school have issued you cards and you're applying for your visa, the school will usually, when I did mine, the school will usually like interview you to make sure that you are going to meet the requirements for the when you are going for your interview. So I'm going to have advise you when you're applying for your visa, there is some that you have the standard, we have the standard which is usually take like 3 weeks for you to get your for you to get your decision. And we also have the priority visa. We have the super priority. For the priority, it is usually you are expected to like get your results. I mean, maybe you've been issued the visa, yeah, or not. You're expected to get your result within 5 working days. Usually, when it can take like 9 working days. So let's just say a week for you to get your decision. And okay, I'm going to advise you if you have the fund, because the standard means of applying, that one is 3 weeks and it's usually take a longer time. So, but for the priority and super priority, you have to make some extra payments. So if you have the fund to do that, I will advise you to go for the super priority. But because for the super priority, you can you can get your decision within let's say second working day. You can get your decision, which is faster. And another benefit of applying through the super priority is that you might not be invited for an interview. You might not be invited for an interview in the embassy, because they usually have to like process your documents fast. So basically, there might be a phone interview, but basically there is really no time for interview, because you'll be expecting to get your feedback the next working day. So if you have the phone, it's usually advisable, because some people during the interview they might be so scared and they might not be able to answer some of the questions as expected. When I did I applied through the priority priority visa, and it was, even though I received my feedback after 9 working days and I did my interview, but there have been a lot of preparations. Watched I've I've watched videos before going for the interview. So if you can do that, it's going to help you a lot, because you are going to be on an interview. The interview is going to be with one of the embassy's representatives. It's going to be a form of like a video interview. Yeah. So that is that about that. That is that about that. So, so basically, some people are concerned about, if because when you're applying for your visa, you have to have enough fund in your account. Basically, let's take for example, if your tuition fee for 1 year is £10,000, you have to have an additional, if you're studying in the United, if you're studying in London to be precise, you have to have an additional 1,200 £1,200 each month. For the 9 months for your first year, you have to have 1,200 at the minimum. They expect you to have that for 9 months. That's let's say 10,000 £10,000 for 9 months, and that is expected to like cover your accommodation, your feeding. So you have to have, so let's assume that your course is ten costs £10,000 a year. So plus another, so you have to like have another budget of £9,000. So they expect you to, because if you don't have that, they might refuse your application. So you are expected to have at least minimum of £19,000, depending on your country's currency, in your account for a period of one 1 to 2 months, without you tampering with it. You have to have it in your account before you apply for your visa. So, and just for one year. So when you if you have that in your account, minimum of £19,000, which includes your tuition fee, your accommodation, your feeding, and other expenses, your transport. If you have all those things in your account and you have your tuberculosis test, you have your IELTS, and the Home Office are satisfied with all your documents, then they should issue you your visa. Yeah. So if you and that is for a year. So after when you get to the United Kingdom, basically on every student visa as an international student, you have 20 hours to work during school time, and you can work full time during holidays. So if you already get the fund for 1 year, and you make the payments for your 1 year for the 1 year period, pardon me, you can you can when you get to the United Kingdom, you can start working even if you are doing 20 hours in a week and you're going to school. You can have some savings, and during the full-time period you can work as much as you want, which will help you to meet up for the next year's payment. So that is it about that. About that. Yeah, so feel free to ask me any questions. You can send me DM on my Instagram, you can send me an email, or you can leave a comment down below. If you have any further question if there is anything I haven't mentioned in this video, you feel free to ask me any question, and I will be happy to answer your questions. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.